decision has been made to carry out a major task of decontamination on the Maralinga Range. After the health physics and decontamination teams have dressed in full protective clothing, they leave for the site of the incident. Since this incident involves the removal and the burial of heavy steel wreckage, the decontamination team is suitably equipped to carry out this task. One of the first duties of the health physics monitoring team is to survey the approaches to and the area around the incident with the object of assessing the type and extent of contamination. The instruments shown in use here are the 1324 radiation survey meter and the 1320 X-ray modified contamination monitor. From the readings obtained, the contaminated area can be clearly defined and is marked out with stakes, tapes, and appropriate notices. On this trial, a number of field experiments on new decontamination techniques were carried out. The experiment shown here is designed to assess the value of bitumen emulsion in removing surface contamination from a loose soil surface. The surface chosen for the experiment was lightly contaminated, but air sampling shows that there is no airborne hazard. The soil is first wetted with water to improve the penetration of the bitumen emulsion. This is followed by a bitumen spray and the laying down of string netting to give mechanical support for lifting the bitumen. After a further light overspray with bitumen emulsion, the material is allowed to dry. The bitumen cake with the entrapped soil and the particles of contamination is then lifted and rolled up. Subsequent monitoring showed almost complete removal of contamination from the soil surface. With the equipment available at the time, only relatively small-scale experiments could be carried out. Prior to the removal of the wrecked steelwork, the debris was liberally sprayed with a water-based sealing material to prevent the unnecessary spread of contamination during dismantling operations and to reduce the hazard to personnel working among the debris. In dismantling operations, full use is made of the yellow 5-ton crane and the D8 bulldozer. These yellow vehicles are maintained permanently in the active area and are not for general use on the camp site. The steelwork is broken down into pieces of a size convenient for transport to the burial site by a 3-ton yellow truck. Transport of heavy steel plates, each weighing approximately 1 ton by a 3-ton truck, is difficult and time-consuming. And to overcome this, a heavy-gauge steel sledge is used to carry the plates. This is towed by the bulldozer to the burial site, where the plates are offloaded into the pit using the bulldozer blade. When all the large pieces of debris have been removed to the burial pit, this is filled in, the position being clearly marked on the health physics survey map of the area. Back at the site of the incident, the surface soil, together with small contaminated pieces of debris, is bulldozed into a heap, which is sealed against wind disturbance by liberal spraying with bitumen emulsion. Lightly contaminated ground surfaces which may remain after bulldozing operations, together with that at varying distances downwind from the incident, are sealed down by liberal application of oil or oil emulsion applied through a motor-driven pump and a boom mounted on a 3-ton yellow truck. This work does not always meet with the approval of the local inhabitants. This little chap appeared to suffer no ill effects after his oil bath. Personnel returning from the contaminated area must pass through the Health Physics and Personnel Decontamination Center. The outer protective clothing is carefully monitored to assess the level of activity. The clothing is then removed according to a tried and proven technique by a trained undresser. Note the method of removing the respirator. This ensures that any contamination on the gloved hand of the undresser is not transferred to the inner surface of the rubber facepiece. Soiled clothing, roughly segregated according to levels of activity, is packed in bins lined with paper or PVC bags and eventually transported to the active laundry. After undressing, personnel shower, dry, and are monitored again, particular attention being paid to the hands. Vehicles coming out from the contaminated area are driven onto ramps over a cattle grid. Here they are thoroughly cleaned down using live steam from a mobile generator, high-pressure hosing, and vacuum cleaning. All soiled protective clothing from the Forward Health Physics and Personnel Decontamination Center is transported to the active laundry in sealed PVC or paper bags which are monitored on the outside to ensure freedom from contamination. At the laundry, the clothing, already segregated into high and low levels of contamination, is loaded into the washing machines. Laundering is carried out according to a well-established routine using the special complexing detergents developed at AWRE. After drying, either out of doors or in steam tumbler dryers, the clothing is finally monitored to ensure complete freedom from contamination.